Present on every continent, the rat is a semi-nocturnal mammal, with the two most common species being the black rat and the brown rat. The black rat has a pointed snout, bulging eyes, large translucent hairless ears, and a long tail. It typically confines itself to the upper floors of buildings and agricultural areas, hence its nickname roof rat or field rat. The brown rat, also known as the Norway rat or sewer rat, has a brown color. It is more robust than the black rat, with a shorter tail and thicker fur. Omnivorous like humans and a very poor climber, it lives in the lower parts of buildings and in sewers. All rats reproduce rapidly, with each female giving birth to 7 to 14 pups, 4 to 7 times a year. Socially well organized, rats live in groups led by a dominant male. Shunned by humans for the damage they cause to crops and buildings, and feared for the diseases they can transmit, rats are now also kept as pets. It is the brown rat that has been bred into the domestic rat. There were once rat leaders in Normandy who advised anyone encountering these animals not to harm them, especially those moving slowly. These lame rats could transform into monstrous dragons. It was also said that malevolent sorcerers would mold clay into the shape of a rat, breathe on it while uttering an incantation, and immediately the figures would come to life, producing thousands of mice that obeyed the sorcerer's orders. Many people have testified to seeing these malevolent groups of rodents, like the peasant woman who reported encountering a struggling beggar followed by a troop of rats, the first of which had their noses on his clogs. Who in Mainz, Germany, could forget Hatto, the usurping archbishop of the city's episcopal see, who in 1704 refused to feed his people? The famine was so severe that the population gathered in front of the prelate's palace to demand bread. Had he not hoarded all the wheat harvests? When he refused, the poor people did not move. The archbishop then had his archers surround them and lock them in a barn, which they set on fire. It was
a spectacle that would make stones weep,
wrote Victor Hugo in his memoirs. The wretched people screamed in despair as Hatto, laughing, dared to say,
"Do you hear the rat squeaking?"
The next day, only ashes remained. The city seemed dead and deserted when suddenly a multitude of rats emerged from underground, flooding the streets and the palace. Terrified, Hatto ran to hide, but the rats climbed over the walls. The archbishop then took refuge in a tower in the middle of the Rhine, followed by the rats who scaled the doors, the roof, the windows, and finally reached the miserable archbishop, devouring him alive. Since that day, a curse has hung over the Moersturm, the Tower of Rats. Sometimes at night, a strange reddish vapor resembling the smoke of a furnace can be seen emerging from it. That's Hatto's soul returning.